Well, it is time to make some sugar water for the bees. It's that time of year the bees are hungry. I'm going to do mine a little bit differently. Most people do a 1-to-1 ratio or a 2-to-1 ratio, and that works, and that's what you should do by all means if you're one who measures. I'm one who tends to just eyeball things, so I'm going to go ahead and eyeball it today. But before I get started, I'm going to get some filtered water and put it on the stove so that the mixture will mix easier. Put some sugar over here. Get a little bit more sugar over here. All right. And while that is getting hot, I'll go ahead and get our sugar in here. Like I said, I don't measure it. I just do. I have a half-gallon pitcher, and I fill it up to 1,750 milliliters. I believe that's what it is. And then the rest of the way with water. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Give me a moment. I'll put on my eyes. And yes, 1,750 milliliters of sugar. Which is almost a full pitcher here. Beautiful. Get this out of the way. And as soon as our water heats up, we'll begin. So now we just have to wait. While we're waiting, we can listen to the RO water filter refill, or I can cut away to some video that I shot this morning of some birds on the bird feeder. We can watch that for a minute or two, and when we come back, the kettle should be hot and we can begin. Or what we can do, we can look at honey. This is the fall harvest. We've got probably 2 gallons, which is not bad. This is our first fall. We had 4 of these. These are half-gallon jars, completely filled with honey. And yes, we took every bit of honey that the bees had on their hive, which is bad, but all winter long they're going to drink sugar syrup. I don't think the bees know the difference. I would imagine this is going to be higher in carbohydrates, higher in energy for them anyways. Inside the hive, it's also going to be cleaner food for them to eat. I've seen a lot of videos where bees have dysentery and they're messing up the front of their hive when they come out and do their cleansing flights, and that I believe is when they're eating honey and nectar or pollen. I think this is a pretty good solution. So we will see. Empty jug. Always have a bunch of these. Move it out of the way. Now usually what I do is I will put blue food coloring. You've seen my videos where I feed the bees the blue sugar water. I put blue food coloring in my syrup. I don't have blue. I used the blue on this jug I did earlier. I only had 4 or 5 drops, so it's not even that blue. So my next jug is red. I'm going to be using red on this one. And I think, hey, it's Halloween, blood, vampires. It'll be all right. I just have to remember that when I'm pulling the honey off the hive, not to pull the blue honey, and don't pull the red honey. Pull the golden nectar. Pull the honey-colored honey. That's the key, honey-colored honey. While we're waiting on that, something else that I put in my sugar syrup for the bees is anise extract. Now this smells like licorice. I mean, it smells really good. It's like black licorice, like when you bite into a black licorice jelly bean at Easter time. That's what it smells like. I would imagine that's where they get the flavor. but that's what it smells like, and the bees love it. But I'm going to do a test where I have one dish of sugar syrup and another dish of sugar syrup, one with anise extract in it and one without, because last week when I fed the hives, I kicked off another robbing situation. And this fall, it's my first fall of beekeeping, but this fall is the first time I've had that happen. In the spring, when the hives were hungry, I fed them sugar water and I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with one hive robbing the other. I didn't have a problem with other bees from other colonies down the road or miles away coming in and robbing the hives. But this fall, the bees have been all over each other. I don't know whether it's my 4 colonies attacking each other or whether it's outside bees coming in and attacking the colonies and trying to rob them out, but it's just been bedlam. It's been just a melee on the front of every box every time I feed the bees, actually every time I open the hives. And I think that it may have to do with anise extract. When I put this in the sugar water, again, the bees love it, but I think that lets the bees smell it quicker and everybody just tries to pile into that hive. It's interesting because I read something the other day that said that bees, unlike other insects, have more than 170 scent receptors on their antenna, and most of the other insects only have like 30 or 40. So bees have the ability to smell a scent on just a passing breeze and hone in on it and find it, whereas other bugs, insects, can't do it as readily. And that might be part of the problem, because this is a lot stronger smelling than plain sugar water. So this might be why I'm getting robbed. So I don't recommend you use this yet. I know it's good for pollen patties in the spring because I put it in the pollen patties and the bees loved it. But use at your own risk right now. I'll find out after this next time that I feed if I end up with a swarm, or if when I'm doing my test I get more bees on the plate with the anise oil in it than I do with just the plain sugar water. I'll let you know and then let you know whether or not this is a good idea. I think it is right now. It smells good to me. If I were a bee, I would sure like to eat it. It sure would make sugar water more palatable, especially after my honey's been stolen. So we'll see. I think the water's ready. Just going to fill this to the top now. And as the sugar dissolves, there's room for more water. Now I'm doing this in a blender. If you have a strong blender, you can do this. I have a Vitamix. This is a wonderful blender, but it's got a strong motor on it. My old blender that I had before this, there's no way it would have survived. Blending dry sugar or even semi-damp sugar would have destroyed the motor on the blender. But this is a fairly strong blender and it'll work. If you don't have a Vitamix or again a strong blender, don't do this because this will just destroy the motor in your blender. It's like blending sand. Give it a couple of pulses. So I'm going to run this up to about 3 for about 2 minutes. About 1 capful of anise extract per gallon. A little bit more. Excellent. The funnel, always a good idea. I mean, come on, I could probably pour it right in there, but when I poured it all over the counter and the floor, yeah, the wife wouldn't be too happy with that. So I'll use a funnel. Bee food. All right, now we'll make one more. See, with the blender, this is very quick. Whereas in the spring when I was making it, I did not use the blender. I just stirred it in a hot saucepan on the stove for, gosh, 30 minutes. And I would have to do 2 batches to fill 4 gallons. All right, short it for 2 minutes. Bee food is a sticky business, let me tell you. Make sure that I've got a good mix on it here. Oh yeah, that's mixed. All right. There we have it. One gallon of blood red Halloween bee food. Again, if you feed your bees sugar water, it's always a good idea to put some food coloring in there. At least I believe it's a good idea to put food coloring in there. That way you never ever confuse your honey with sugar water. I know it's very tough, especially in the spring. I noticed that the honey that my bees gathered in the honey that they made was very, very light in color. Now, that could have been light in color because it was sugar water. I did not dye my sugar water in the spring, so it's very possible that the honey that I pulled in the summer when I pulled some of the frames, I had some really light honey in there. It's very possible that some of that was sugar water. I hope not, but now I know that it will not be. And there you have it. Sugar water, sugar syrup, blood red for Halloween. The bees are going to love it. So that's that. I hope you got something out of this, and I'll see you next time.